Hey yogis, it's Josie here. Welcome to the YogaLocal podcast. We are back after spending some time away. As a lot happened while we were away. The entire floor in the studio has been taken up and relaid. It's all lovely again, and you wouldn't know that any work had been done. But we're also kind of a little bit tanned. It's a wetsuit tan, you know, it's the wrists and the head and neck only, so don't get too envious. But yeah, no, we've just come back after spending some time immersing in our yoga practice, diving into the 7 spiritual laws of yoga, which is where I started my journey into meditation and yoga and Ayurveda as a practice. But yeah, lots of sun, sea, souks. So it's really great to be back. I have missed everyone. And we're moving into a new month. So I'm really excited to start to share with you after moving from our practice, where we've been really digging in to find meaning in our practice and adding that extra element of intention and you know, that real inner reason really for why you want to practice. And this kind of works really nicely into next month's theme, which is I've condensed into the word dream. And all June we're going to be using the creative yogic process of creativity to radically reimagine ourselves. And there are 5 steps that are going to take us there over the 5 weeks that we have in June. So there's 4 Sanskrit words that we can plug into that relate to imagination. So the first one is Vikalpa. Don't expect you to remember these, but they'll become familiar to you over the next month. Vikalpa, Kalpana, Pratibha and Bhavana. And some of them you might have heard like derivatives of, like bhav, as in that feeling, the bhav, the emotion that we were kind of trying to find meaning. So it's all going to expand your awareness of why we practice, how we practice, and also to tap into this process of becoming, right? To open ourselves to higher things, to allow ourselves to dream and use the creative process to move us forward, not just in a way physically. We're very focused on the physical. It kind of drives me nuts a little bit that, you know, we're also focused on wanting to get the body more flexible. This is way, way more deeper. This is going to be work that's going to help you to reimagine yourself, take you away from your current limits, your current way of living, your whole life. So everything can start to change when you change your mind and you start to understand how much power there is in our mind, how much power there is behind not just our words, our spoken words, which kind of manifest and bring meaning into the world, but also our thoughts, that the energy behind our thoughts is also having a very real impact on how we show up in our lives and how we show up in our relationships. So yeah, we're going to really start to unpack this creative process, these 4 Sanskrit words over the next 5 weeks, and then culminating in a practice which is going to bring us to our overarching intention, our Sankalpa. So week 1 is going to be all about the first Sanskrit word, Vikalpa, which is empty thoughts, right? These are the stories we tell ourselves in the quiet of our own mind, and the unhelpful thinking that shows up at just the wrong times. Random, fanciful thinking. It's all the garbage, it's all the noise, it's all the static. Rah, 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 rah. Vikalpa. And our practice is going to be centered around identifying when these Vikalpas show up and starting to eliminate them, dissolve them through our yoga practice. And that means not just posture work, it's our breathing work, it's our meditation practice, the whole complete shebang. So then we move into Kalpana, which is our creative thinking capacity. It's a creative force. And this kind of lends itself to reminding us that we need to be careful about what we wish for. Thoughts become things. So this has powerful aspects to it, as well as like this kind of warning about what you think you become, because equally you can start to co-create. Once you start to manage your mind, manage your thoughts, we can start getting into this creative force, the Kalpana part of the creative imagination process. And we can start to recognize that everything we feel, we see, we hear, we want starts to move ourselves in the direction of our goals. So what are you focusing your thoughts on? Because that's what's going to result in the outcomes that you're looking for, and where your attention goes, energy flows. So you're bringing that. What are you bringing? Where's your energy going? Are you fueling something you desire, or are you fueling something that you don't want? And this is something that you can maybe relate to when you think of an athlete. You know, they're setting very real, intentional goals, and thinking, and not just setting the goal, but thinking, how would that feel like if I was in that, you know, on that winning podium, taking that medal, you know, and really getting into thinking yourself already in that space and the energy that brings. So that's going to be Kalpana week 2. Week 3, Pratibha. Now this is when we're getting to in spirit, like as in being inspired, right? That creative force that comes from being connected to your internal GPS, your internal voice, your intuition, your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it. And this is those bursts of insights that we get when we're in that space of connectivity, which is, by the way, what we're trying to produce as we're moving, as we're practicing our asana, as we're practicing our breath. We're trying to get into that place where we are more readily receiving these intuitive wisdoms, this knowledge, which is our birthright. You know, we just become closed off, all that kind of Vikalpa, all that crazy white noise is getting in the way. So we purify, we get stronger through our posture practice. We start to eliminate some of this unhelpful thinking, start to replace it with a more creative force that then is more plugged into source, more in spirit, more inspired. We'll get these big aha moments, these big bursts of insight. And as we expand our consciousness, like everything changes, a whole perspective grows, and what wasn't possible before starts to feel possible, you know, and things start to line up, things start to come into place. And we replace all our kind of doubt and our worry, all our primal instincts to protect, to close off, and all those things that hold us back. We start to move past them, get inspired, and start to evolve into what's possible, our potential. So that's week 3. Week 4, we're going to move into Bhavana. And this is practicing more, going more into contemplation, more into visioning, right? So I don't know if any of you have ever done a vision board. I have a couple at home, got one in my bedroom and one in the kitchen. And this is kind of like creating this this environment where we're constantly feeding the mind with visions of how we want things to be, and contemplating how to arrive in those spaces. Again, it's going beyond ordinary thinking and just really contemplating into what's possible, and what's possible from that place of remembrance that we've already kind of established a connection to with our Pratibha, and that in spirit or inspired creativity. So this is like really getting into that intuitive part of who we are, remembering our deep inner desires that push us forward, that propel us and motivate us to move into our dreams and become more, that enable us to radically change and reimagine what's possible for ourselves. So this is when we're going to start to really open up a little bit more. And just, you know, I've talked about like receiving this week and being in that place of readiness and just being more available. And so this is, you know, getting into that place of receiving grace, receiving the creative flow, and then that enables us to move forward towards our dreams. And then finally, week 5, this is going to be our real intention setting week. So once we've kind of got past all our Vikalpas, we've moved into more of our creative thinking, got past the ordinary mind into more imagining, more envisioning, receiving those bursts of insight that make it feel possible to take us outside of ourselves to evolve and move into our dreams. Then we've got to start setting some very real intentions of how we are going to cultivate this firm resolve that this is for us, this is something that we can obtain, this is something we can achieve if we keep practicing, if we keep organizing our minds, our very powerful, auspicious minds, in these directions, and away from the like unhelpful and, you know, conditioned thinking that just keeps us locked into a very stuck, you know, it might feel safe, but it's a very stuck kind of place to be. And a sankalpa is not just you know, a fancy, a wish, or, you know, I'd really like that to happen. This is more, this has more guts to it. This is a deep promise that you want to make to yourself. You've got to create a really firm resolve that you can come back to and dig deep into. You know, this work that we do as yogis is not like one and done. It's over our lifetimes. And, you know, as we do more work, we see more unhelpful thinking coming up, and we just keep working with all these different tools and techniques and wisdoms and understanding to get us to the place where ultimately we want to be, where our heart and soul is calling us to reach into. We don't want to start leaving our life to randomness. We want to take charge. We want to be resilient, self-reliant, powerful human beings, and live our lives fully and deeply, and, you know, go after those things in life that are important to you, because that's how we'll find fulfillment. That's how we will find happiness in our life. That's how we will learn how to really serve not just ourselves but others around us. It's a vital ingredient, setting a sankalpa. So we'll be helping to guide you through that process in week 5. So if you fancy, I don't know why you wouldn't, like getting underneath the skin of this power that you have to radically reimagine yourself and start to create the right framework, create the right mindset, understand, you know, when you're in bursts of insight and connectivity and in spirit, when you're kind of just listening to that lower mind, and starting to co-create your experience of life and kind of bring the energy that you need to actually manifest your dreams, manifest the life of your dreams. Then come and join us throughout June. Every practice will be aligned with these intentions and goals and giving them real power, but also very much with your moon and your sun and your fire built in to get you there in a very systemized, scientific, makes a lot of sense kind of way. So I hope you're inspired to come and do some work and radically reimagine yourself throughout June. And I look forward to that. So take care and bye for now.